following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bizbb-radio.com.
Hello there. Welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome to another episode of the 716th Attack Legion podcast.
Hello there, and welcome back to the 716th Attack Legion podcast. My name is Julian. I'm joined with Jack, Jordan, and Christian, and we just got done watching the best 41 minutes of our life. We're here to talk about Ahsoka, Episode 4. Also, Rich is here. Oh my God. Spoilers ahead.
Spoilers galore.
This will be the spoilers episode. Jack's going to lead our discussion today because I'm so awestruck. Jack,
I'm the only one who took notes.
Yeah, Jack's the only one that took notes because I was just
I can't think anyway.
head over heels. Dude, my mind is
before
melted.
You continue,
Jordan,
sorry, I have to. You said best 41 minutes of our life, so I can't say that. I'm married.
Oh, God.
Whatever.
I'm just saying. I had to throw that out there. I love my wife.
Marriage. Star Wars exists.
Exactly.
I did get married on a Star Wars anniversary.
Exactly. Anyway, there is so much to unpack in this episode. Like, oh my God. This is by far the best episode so far.
It is definitely the best episode.
We got everything that we wanted.
We got bits and pieces of literally everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of this, like the dialogue scenes, the simple dialogue scenes. This was a simpler opening, too. It wasn't like an action-packed opening like we've got the past couple episodes. It was like just a simple conversation. Like, they have no help. They're stuck in the ship, and they don't know what they're going to do. But Ahsoka can, like, sense that stuff's going on.
Yeah.
And then we just got a title card, and it was like nothing major.
One of my biggest takeaways from the opening scene is Ahsoka was like, if it comes down to it, we have to destroy the map. And I was like, and in my mind while watching the episode, I was like, why is it all or nothing when it comes to the map? Like, if they get the map and they were able to stop them, why was it destroy it? Why couldn't they also use it?
Wait, what do you mean? They just needed the coordinates. They downloaded the coordinates, then they...
But, Ahsoka was saying that if it comes down to it, they would have had to destroy the map. But they would have had to get the map to destroy it. And if they have the map, why do they need to destroy it?
I think she was just referring to the situation, like, the likelihood that they weren't going to be able to maybe get the map, but not get away. Which was, like, literally kind of what happened in the episode. But
that was exactly.
They were going to, like,
can't get the map.
Yeah, I think it was literally... No, I think it was literally just, like... Yeah, exactly.
Everything. Not just the map necessarily.
Yeah, if we can't get the map and get out, which they couldn't, the ship was broke, then at that... Which, again, the ship wasn't even broke before, like, Ahsoka had brought up that ultimatum. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that was just referring to the idea that for the greater good, we might have to, like, destroy it. But again,
sacrifices need to be made.
Again, that's... To be fair, we'll get to that later, though, what happens with that, because...
Jordan?
I mean... I just love Huyang. Like, he's...
Oh, he's the comic relief of it.
It's not even that.
He's like a better comic relief than, like, half the comic relief characters in the entire Star Wars series. Because his jokes are actually funny. Like, everything he says is a fucking joke.
I just love David
actually
Tennant.
Hilarious.
And
David Tennant's a phenomenal actor.
And
he's just written well because Dave Filoni's a great writer.
Let's talk about Huyang's fight scene.
Oh, yeah, that was nuts. Like, Christian called it, too. He goes, is there going to be a robot fight scene? Now, 5 seconds later, was there a robot fight scene? And Huyang is awesome. Like, he is badass. He's, like, kicking ass.
Mm-hmm. We saw him fight back in...
Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I saw something else he did. So.
They need to sell that.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but it's Huyang versus an assassin.
Yeah, they need to sell that at Christmas time.
Huyang versus Grievous.
That'd be
forearm versus forearm.
Christian, go ahead.
But no, yeah, we've seen him fight before in Clone Wars, so that was on my wish list of like things I wanted to see like Huyang do. Now I just need to see Chopper like murder someone.
You brought that up earlier today that we might see him fight.
Yeah.
I don't have any of those.
Yeah. I almost expected him to like pull out a lightsaber and just start like chopping people.
I think
Because
we
we
would've
saw
seen
them on
that
the
before.
ship.
Would have been
True.
hilarious if he pulled out like the training lightsabers and then realized that they didn't work.
Or sonic screwdriver. Just saying.
Dude, he's not a doctor. Get out of here with your stupid theories.
Hey, listen.
But overall, like even that fight was like, because that leads into obviously one of the better parts of the episode, which is the lightsaber fights. Which like we haven't gotten a solid lightsaber fight like this in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like honestly, like even the, like I personally like the fighting in like Force Awakens, but like this fight I would put on par with, you know, some of the Clone Wars stuff. And they also like they go in between like showing that Ahsoka's evolved because she uses like the reverse handling and the regular handling, but most of the lightsaber fight almost actually when she's fighting like droids or people with guns, she does the double blades, but when she's fighting other people with lightsabers, she only uses
No, she's
one
doing like actual.
It's
like
weird.
Dave Filoni is like they never do this, and the sequel trilogy definitely never did this, considering that Rey's form was baseball bat. But like that was her form the entire trilogy because Rey didn't use a single lightsaber form like from the canon at any point. Neither did Kylo either though. Kylo just threw it around like like it was nothing anyway as well. But no, they literally are like approaching it where. Almost like a samurai would, where like you have different
100%.
forms for different situations, and like in real life,
Yeah.
like as well as,
When she raised her lightsaber above
Yeah.
her head, that was pure kendo.
yeah, exactly. Like it depends on like the opponent. Like when she had like the fight the Marrok, when he has his double, like she has the reverse grip, like one blade, and then when she had to fight like the bigger guy, she's like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. But also like in Clone Wars, she would typically just use like both sabers, but like in real life, you kind of only use two blades like when you have facing multiple opponents, which is why like I think the only time in the episode is at
I
the
guess
beginning.
also the same thing like when she fights Grievous in Clone Wars, like
Like that's an actual Japanese thing for like people that did have two swords.
Well,
is you only really did it if
In
you had
Clone Wars,
multiple
she
combatants.
started off with just one, and she upgraded to two. When
Well,
she
I think
wanted to go
Anakin gifted
do a
it to
more
her
defensive
specifically,
kind of
actually.
attacking.
well she has two from the beginning, I think.
No, she
No.
only has one in
Anakin
Clone
gives
Wars.
her the show
Plo
blade.
Koon gives her the second one.
I'm pretty sure it's
does?
Anakin.
Oh,
Plo Koon.
when does that happen?
In season 3,
we don't see it, but
we don't see it happen, but she gets it.
She has two lightsabers for seasons 1 and 2.
No,
Nope.
she does
No,
not.
just one.
What? Wow, I'm really blind. She's my favorite character. How did I know that?
So, the fighting is amazing.
It's up there.
Personally, I'd say it's on par with like Obi-Wan versus.
I
Maul
just wanna
in
say-
episode 1.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
I just want to
it's still
say
no Duel on Mustafar, but it's up there.
that I'm happy that Marrok was nobody.
I'm okay with the fact that Marrok was nobody. I'm a little disappointed that he died so quickly. Like, I wish that he would have
put up a good
lasted
fight.
longer, but what they did with
Yeah,
him,
then-
like, obviously he dies, and then he just sort of, like, disintegrated into, and then Christian
I'm
was
very
like,
happy.
Sister Magic!
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
So, like,
very
I'm okay with, like, what they're
So-
doing with
because
him.
like
Obviously,
Obi-Wan
he
didn't
was
body
controlled by her.
anyone in the entirety of his show. You know what I mean? And Obi-Wan's like a badass, and there was like multiple Inquisitors running around, and Obi-Wan didn't fight one of them. And like so, like at least like we actually get to see Ahsoka, a high-level user of like, because again, very few people should beat Ahsoka at all. That's the truth of it. Like so, most like Shin shouldn't be a competition. That's why she literally gets tossed like like across the room.
Well, if you think about
like
it, like,
Rey.
technically speaking, because of now Tales of the Jedi, and Rebels, Ahsoka's taken down 3
Yeah,
Inquisitors.
she murks Inquisitors for fun. Like
Like, it's insane.
Well,
but also,
so-
technically speaking, now
Technically,
with him
5, because if you think about the battle on what's the planet?
Korriban.
Korriban. Is it? I thought it was
Is it- that's
Korriban.
where
Starts with
Kanan
an
gets-
M. It
Kanan-
starts with an
Kanan
M.
gets
my brother
blinded,
just
right?
texted me the fucking ending.
Um,
Who just texted you?
yeah,
that?
but
Holy fuck.
I mean, there's 3 Inquisitors there. I mean, yeah, Kanan fights
Yeah,
one,
you've
and
got,
Maul.
you've got the
but
8th brother, the
Maul
5th brother,
kills
and,
2 of them.
And,
Yeah, Maul kills most.
And then
actually.
Kanan kills the 8th brother.
but what I'm saying is, she's taken on many
Oh,
Inquisitors.
yeah,
That's
she
more so
takes
what
on
I was getting
Inquisitors
at.
for fun. I
So-
mean, it's insane.
So speaking about
Well,
Marrok,
Real
do
quick,
we?
the last thing I want to say about this is because of the Night Sister magic with Marrok, does that mean he was an actual Inquisitor?
Well, so that was my question. So do we think that it was Morgan like made a person to fight, or do we think that she like powered up someone, kind of like how Mother Talzin did?
It looked like the person just
Savage.
disappeared, like fully.
Yeah, he
Which
just kinda
Savage just like
disintegrated
returned
into
back
dust.
to like his original shitty form. Like after he like
What's the guy's name from Mortal
Like-
Kombat?
Smoke.
No.
yeah, like he just like
he's
melted.
he's green inside, but he's like all the spirits. Ermac,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who?
I
like
think
that.
so. I think you're right.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat we're talking about. Okay. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's like that.
So
It
we
did
think
just
it
kinda
was just a
disintegrate.
person that Morgan like made.
No, I think it was literally like some weird like.
I think it was like puppeteering.
I think it was like a. Yeah, I think she was puppeting a dude. Maybe it was a corpse.
Puppeting a dead
I think
body?
it might have been. Actually, it was probably a corpse. I think it was. No, you know what it was? It was a dead Inquisitor.
Probably.
Probably. I mean,
That
the
was
Night
a.
Sisters
That was
are
a.
able
That was
to
a
do
dead
that.
Inquisitor. That she was just
I mean,
puppeteering
well, we-
basically.
well, we
We've
know-
seen them
we
do
know-
that. We've
yeah,
done Marin
like in
does that.
Rebels.
And Marin, no,
That's what I was
Marin
gonna
does
say.
that
Marin
as
does that in
well
Fallen Order.
in Fallen Order.
So like that's how you have to get. That's how you fight your way through Dathomir. Is like Marin revives almost everybody on
In
the
Clone Wars,
planet.
they do a whole undead army at one point.
Yeah.
Well, in
so, like,
Rebels, when Ezra, Kanan, and Sabine all go to Dathomir, like
Yeah, I remember what you're
Mother
talking
Talzin possesses Kanan. I
I don't think
believe.
it's Talzin, but I think
no,
it's like the spirits.
It's
of
the spirits of the Night Sisters.
Whatever the
It's
fuck
not
Sounds like
necessary,
Talzin,
but it's
though.
Maul who actually does the ritual, and it's Asajj and Mother Townsend.
Oh, that's right. Ventress is involved in that. I forgot.
It's those voices.
No, in
it's
Rebels.
The voices.
In
In
Rebels.
Rebels, yes, it's their voices. It's the
Asajj
same-
isn't there.
It's the same
no, but
voice
it's
actor.
her, it's
yeah.
her voice. Yeah.
But it's just dead Night Sisters. And it's the same kind of magic though, but I think it's more puppeteering and it's more like Ermac in Mortal Kombat where it's a flesh suit kind of thing. Like it's
Yeah,
a capsule
I'm-
embodying the magic.
I'm interested to see if they do go into more of that in the next episode because like it really like I would as much as like I love the idea that okay, so we know he's Night Sister magic, but I'm interested. I don't want to just there's a spider floating down from the ceiling right
Well,
there.
I will say, if you're not
Squirrel.
overly familiar with Night Sister magic, I imagine you're probably confused
As
right
to
now.
why he-
I would
Turning
love
up
to
of a
see
green
a whole
smoke.
show
Like I
dedicated to the Night Sisters.
that would be cool. I could watch a show about the Night
I
Sisters.
did see an interview that apparently Elsbeth fights Ahsoka at some point in the show, and it's a longer sequence than Mando.
Can we-
so
can we
that'll
get-
probably
can we-
be a Night
can we
Sister.
get a
magic
Marin show?
fight scene? Like,
Dude, I would watch a Marin
well,
show.
Speaking about
Simp.
Ahsoka fighting, can we talk about her versus Baylan?
Oh, dude! that
Before we
was a
get to
great
that,
fight.
Before we get to that, so like, I was I went and before because you're gonna make a comment and saying that he was a Sith and everything like that.
He was called Lord Baylan.
Oh, that
not.
doesn't.
That doesn't
that's
mean shit.
no.
Yeah,
Lord,
I don't
I
think
want to
that
make
means
sure
Sith Lord.
because you've said this in the last 2 episodes that we've watched about titles.
First off, we don't know what he is.
He's very-
so you
he's
can't
very
just
clearly
be like,
not a
oh,
Sith
he's a
or a
fallen
Jedi,
Jedi. Like he can be anything. There's no.
He's a
confirmation.
Dark Force user or a Dark Force adept or an acolyte, whatever you want to call it. The fact that you're saying, well, he's a Lord and it's the Sith sounds and this, that, and the other. I'm gonna.
I mean,
He
the
just had
lightsaber sound
He just
is
had a,
a Sith
light,
Lord
a red
lightsaber
lightsaber sound. That's like the Sith Lord sounding lightsaber.
What
equivalent.
I'm getting
I'm with Jordan, y'all. Like it just because that's not like what they did, yo.
What I'm
that's not
getting-
like what that's not what that Lord.
No,
thing
I
was.
definitely,
Like,
like,
also,
he's-
his name was Baylan. Like they knew his name from before. Like that
You
was
don't have
Baylan
to
was
change
his.
your
Yes,
name.
you do.
No,
Every
you
Sith
don't.
we've ever
Count
seen.
Dooku didn't change his name.
Yes, he did.
No, he
Darth
didn't.
Tyrannus.
His
Who-
Sith name was
who-
Darth
who-
Tyrannus.
Who
dude.
referred to him as Darth Tyrannus ever?
That,
Sidious.
yeah, you realize that was part of the plan, right? You do realize that like he wasn't supposed to be known as the Sith apprentice to the secret dark side
But you
wielder
don't have
who was
to
in charge
change
of the
your
galaxy.
name.
No, yeah, let's call me Darth Tyrannus and give the game away.
You don't have
That,
to
I-
change your
that-
name to be a Sith Lord.
Okay, here's my
You
point.
also realize that he was like also pretending for a lot of the time that he was for half of the war. They thought Ventress was the apprentice, and that Dooku was actually like the Dark Master in charge.
Here
some of the
is
time.
my point. Okay. As fans, people need to not confuse
Oh my
a royal title with somebody's rank or association.
Well, see now here's what I
Because
think.
like you get the Duke and the Duchess, you get the lords and ladies, you get that's more where he falls. And like they like
there's
Huyang
almost-
calls Ahsoka Tano, Lady Tano,
that
Lady
was
Ren.
well, that was the point I was just about to make.
Yes.
Is that he
Also,
calls
there's
them
other
Lady
characters
Tano
in
and Lady
Star
Ren.
Wars that have been like referred to as Lord before that are not like Sith Lords. Like, dude, like I guarantee you, we can go through like the multiple like cultures and societies that we found in Clone Wars, and one of the royalties on those things was called Lord. I almost can
Never heard
guarantee it.
anybody.
Yes, I can
Lord.
almost. I will.
Lady
look up.
Amidala is they constantly refer to
All right,
Lady.
so
Hold
I'm as fascinating as this is. Why don't you guys focus
No,
on
I'm
the
literally
episode?
looking this up.
Like,
Well,
let's like we haven't talked about the girls fighting.
That's what I was about to say.
Can we get into like the stuff in the episode?
I
I want to hear about what you guys think
I
about
tried
what
to get
happened.
into the fight, and Jordan pulled us off onto this tangent.
Here's what all I'm gonna say about that, and then we should move on. Which is that like I don't think it really matters what their title is. I definitely don't think he's a Sith Lord, because if he was a Sith Lord, then Shin wouldn't have a Padawan braid. I think he's a dark Jedi or a fallen Jedi.
The episode
Like-
was called Fallen Jedi.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Which is
but
referring to like 5 of the characters in the episode. But
Yeah,
still, he's
every
one of them.
character in the episode's a fallen Jedi.
Or we get into the literal
But-
sense
but
of
none
when
of them
the
are
Jedi
Sith.
actually falls.
but I also literally when the Jedi falls. But I don't think that he's a Sith Lord, because they haven't like. I agree he's a Dark Force user, but I wouldn't say he's a Sith Lord, because at this point, the Sith aren't really a thing. At this point, like they're not. The only Sith that exists, technically speaking, at this point, if you want to go with canon, is Palpatine. Like, there really is no Sith Lords that are around right now, so I would say he's a Dark Jedi, and he's obviously teaching Shin in the Jedi way.
General Grievous was referred to as my lord.
Oh, they were.
Over. Argument done.
Anyway, I mean,
my God.
regardless of the titles. So
Regardless, let's talk about the
so then
actual
we
fight.
Let's
shift
talk about
over.
the actual stuff that
I'm
you
good
watched.
now.
We shift over to the Shin Hati and
Ahsoka Baylan.
So we have the Ahsoka Baylan fight. Let's start there.
Yes.
Which is the very first thing he says to her is, Anakin spoke highly of you. And we all were like, oh my God, are we going to see Anakin? And then they didn't show him. And we were like, oh man. But that conversation happens differently in the trailer than it does in the
Not significantly. It's pretty close to what it was. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
edited a
it
little bit.
physically,
most of the
like,
conversation
their,
was in the trailer.
Their geography happens differently. He's like sitting when she walks in and all that sort of stuff, and then he kind of gets up and confronts her, and you realize like how massive he is, dude. Ray Stevenson is fucking
he's been
huge. He's just so big compared to her, but she is like fearless. She's so fearless. She's like, I'm gonna beat his ass. Like she knows what she's getting into, and then they fight, and she
fight
gets
is so good.
I'm not gonna lie,
Have you
like
ever seen a fight like this before?
No, not really.
not really. I mean, they didn't really fight that much. I mean, and also she attacked first, which was very
get, like, that type of
unlike.
size
Well, actually,
difference
that's
very
just like her.
often.
So me and Christian were talking about this yesterday, and I had a theory that Ahsoka was going to lose that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of expected her, and I even said it in our reaction video that she was gonna fall off, like he was gonna push her off the edge.
Well, also, like, I don't really want to say this because I don't want to like dig dirt on Ahsoka, but he fucking whoops her ass in
He
that
wrecked
fight.
the shit out of
He
her.
wrecks her. and
Ahsoka's doing better than him, actually.
You
want to
know why? You want to know why he wins that fight?
He's just brutally stronger.
No, you want to know why he wins that fight? Because he played mind games with her before the fight even began. He talked about
he
Anakin.
started right
He
away
said,
with starting
Can I
with
give you my
Anakin.
take? Can I
You
give
left
my
your
take?
master.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
She's distracted because she's not interested in defeating him in battle. She's interested in getting the map.
Yeah, she's not
Like,
focused
so
on him.
She's not focused on just killing him. She's focusing on distracting him long enough so she can go over and take care of the map so that the people in the spaceship don't get the coordinates and go. She's
trying to
knows
focus
he's
on the bigger
She's
picture.
smart enough to know that he's a distraction. He's a stall tactic, so that they have time to get the thing. She sees what's going on in the computer stuff. So she's you see in the fight.
Yeah,
she's
she is
trying
against
to work
time,
her
yeah.
way over to the controls, and he knows that. So this is not the real fight we're going to get between the two of them.
I think the fight choreography between the two of them, one, highlights the different styles. Two, shows the brute strength of Baylan. And I just Googled it a second ago, but Ray Stevenson's 6'3", and
So he's my
Rosario's-
height.
Rosario's Dawson is 5'7".
Oh my God, that's like.
Yeah, we haven't got that size.
So you don't get a
difference
size
between
So she's
difference
like
next to a
she's
male?
like 3 inches. She's like maybe probably like 2 inches taller than my girlfriend. My girlfriend comes up to like here.
Yeah, so
That's nuts. So she probably comes up to like my chin. So to think about that, like that's such a big difference.
Well, in the
And he's
fight,
massive.
they're like this, and he's just like, whoop.
Well, also I really like that they stayed true to his character and he stayed like stiff. His movements were very stiff and forward and stuff like they were in that hallway fight. I loved it. He's
Yeah, there-
such
he
a
was
good
the
actor.
only
It's
size difference that
so
might be
sad that
bigger
he's
than
dead.
that is Maul and like maybe Qui-Gon. But they don't use it in like the way they're emphasizing the size difference.
I'd
and,
say
like,
that
that's a part of the fight for once, which isn't always a thing.
I'd say that Obi-Wan and Maul with his first robotic legs
he was pretty big
were
with
tall,
those, yeah.
And I'd say Ahsoka versus Vader probably.
And all the
probably
Savage,
got.
yeah, all the Savage stuff as well was like they used his like size pretty well, like you were saying.
Yeah,
But-
Savage when he fights Kenobi and or even Dooku is just like he towers, and I would say more Dooku compared to Obi-Wan, or like in the live action is comparable to that height because I'm pretty sure Ewan McGregor is significantly shorter.
Oh, he's much shorter than Hayden Christensen. He's like,
Well, not Hayden Christensen,
No, I
but
think
compared to Dooku.
Ewan McGregor's pretty tall.
I don't know. We'll have to look up their heights later, but
Sir Christopher Lee, I think, has got him by like 3-4 inches. But then, well, this is happening too. We're getting the same stuff going on where you see that Shin is facing off with.
that's why it's not on there.
Shin is facing off with
Sabine.
With
Sabine, which is an awesome fight. We finally. Oh well,
that choreo
also
was good as well.
before they get into anything, I also want to say that like we finally get like a little moment between Ahsoka and Sabine in the ship before they go down, because before they go down and like rescue Huyang, that like we see like her helmet and she's loading her guns from the show, which looks awesome. They look great in real life.
Yeah.
And they just get a little human moment where she forgets the cartridges. And I love little moments like that because that really shows that they're close.
She was like panicking, and Ahsoka's like,
breathe.
Yeah, and Ahsoka like calms her down, and then they go out. She
Well,
comes
they
out
have
guns
they talk about
blazing,
Ezra
just like
as
she
well
would
a little
Rebels.
bit more
They
in
do.
depth, and they clarify.
That
I think the
Sabine's in
feelings a
love
little
with
bit.
him.
I don't know if they don't really say it outright.
They
but I
don't
think
No,
say
they're
but
very
they
very
really
but,
they
but
lean
Ahsoka's
into
very
that
much
quite
implying
well.
that it seems like in that moment.
Yeah, but she comes out of that ship, guns blazing, with her helmet on, and we get like real like live action Sabine and cartoon Sabine are the exact same character.
there was good foreshadowing because when she's fighting Shin, her helmet comes off, and then there's the shot where they're fighting and her helmet's on the ground, and I find that a pretty good foreshadowing that like Sabine's going to leave and do her own thing, and she's not going to stick with her.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like that moment is like because she left her. I mean, she left her helmet there. I wonder if that was like a foreshadowing, like okay, that's it. She's done being Sabine, the Mandalorian, the girl who's like sits by herself at her house all day, and she's now going to become Sabine, like the badass Jedi Mandalorian who's about to kick some fucking ass. You know what I mean?
Well, again, she's doing the ultimate, like, the Rebels crew, like, did that multiple times for each other. Like, they had to take the ultimate risk. Because I don't think, like, they ever, like, I guess that's maybe why they've had her in, like, red, like, in the opening, for whatever reason. Because she, like, she ends up giving the map to Baylan. But I don't necessarily, I just think, she has to, in her mind, in the way that they think, the way that, like, even we saw it all of Rebels. But that's what Sabine would do. That's what Ezra would do. I think we said during the video.
Yeah.
Like I said that.
I even
like,
wonder if that wouldn't be something that Kanan would do. I mean, because like Kanan does a couple things like that in Rebels for the rest of the crew. Like,
I feel like he'd destroy. I feel like he'd side with Ahsoka and destroy the map.
really?
Yeah.
I think there was an interesting point that you guys, I don't know if we mentioned it yet. Well, the one thing is we have the conversation where, where they talk about like you have feelings for him and it's more than just friendship. And then she says to her, "Can I count on you?" Because I think she's leading. We already kind of discussed that Ahsoka's kind of worst case scenario. Like, you have to understand that it's better that Ezra doesn't come back, and doesn't come back if that means Thrawn's going to come back and we can't stop it. Like, I think that's and Ahsoka's worried about that. And
She's
then
worried
what
about if she
she's
can
worried
trust
about
Sabine with
turns
that,
out
and
that
she's
she
true.
was right.
Yeah, she's right.
She was right to be worried about it, and that's
Right,
what that
because
conversation
Ahsoka just
takes
gives
place.
them, or Sabine just gives them the map. So, and also Ahsoka just gets thrown from that cliff. I mean, she gets her ass kicked.
Well, let's talk about it. Oh, hold on. Ewan McGregor's 5'10" and Hayden Christensen's 6 foot, so there's only a 2-inch difference.
Okay, that's not Hayden
But
Christensen's
I was
only
talking
6
Sir
feet. He's shorter than
Christopher
I am.
Lee.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, how big is Christopher Lee? Well, how big was Christopher Lee? Rest in peace.
Ultimately, that's not the way they shoot it, though.
Oh yeah,
that's
no,
most
6'5".
things.
Ewan
Anyway.
McGregor
Christopher
looks
Lee
like
was
they make him
6'5".
look shorter
He's
than
the
Tall.
same height as Rick. Or 1 inch shorter than Tall Rick. Tall
So
Rick is
you get the
6'6".
size comparison there,
I
too.
look up to Tall Rick all the time. That is insane how big he is.
Go ahead.
We were talking about Ahsoka throwing Shin.
Oh, just knocking her up
Just
against
like,
the rock.
whoosh.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the scene from Fallen Order when fucking Seer goes after Vader and Vader just goes
No, but
Throws her
weirdly
right over
enough,
the edge.
She's Shin, and her immediate thought is
She killed Sabine.
Is she killed Sabine, which is one bad part on her mad mastering that you don't have faith in your apprentice to have won that battle and survived and made it out somehow. And two, it's anger. Which
She definitely
she's
used
very much
anger.
not like Jedi at all.
She just
Like,
kind of.
I thought she broke her neck at first. Like I thought she literally like.
That
rammed
would have
her
been a
with
waste
force
of that
to, like,
character, though.
No,
I would've been
100%.
pissed if she
but-
died.
So
Good thing she didn't.
Then
Go ahead.
I was gonna say then Ahsoka gets thrown off the cliff, which I knew was gonna
I have
happen.
a thought on that actually. So you know how the map was technically like in use at that time?
Oh, it wasn't.
No, she had thrown
She
the
had
map
thrown
out.
it away.
But I mean, like just like right before, right?
Nope.
No, because she burns her
grabbed
hand on
burned
it,
her hands
throws
and
it
then
off to
throws
the
it away,
side,
and then they fight
and then they
more.
fight more, and then she gets thrown
I'm just
off the
trying
cliff.
to figure out the next part. That's what I'm trying to do. Is
Well,
We'll
I'll
get
get
there in
into
a
that.
second.
No,
We'll get there in a second.
I have the most bold take on that.
Well, we'll
Um,
get there in a second.
so
let's finish the rest
I
of it.
have a
Because
thought
that's
here.
like the big deal.
Because when Baylan is talking to Sabine, he mentions that her family died.
Which that was good lore. We
which
wanted
is
the answer
night,
to that.
Which is obviously the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Mhm.
But
Explains what they were in Mandalorian.
he says that Ahsoka stopped her from saving her family. So did Ahsoka stop Sabine from being on Mandalore during the Night of 1,000 Tears?
I don't know if she stopped her or like prevented her from going, but I wonder if Sabine was training with her and then like either they didn't know what was going on, which could very well be a thing. Like they're not involved with the Empire, so they very well could not know that would have happened and would have just had to deal with the aftermath, or like. I just don't think
Again,
that
we
like
still
Ahsoka
don't
would
know when
stop her from doing that because Ahsoka's not the type to
I don't know.
not let your
I don't
emotions
know if
play into
Baylan-
things.
I don't know if Baylan's like manipulating.
I
it,
think that's exactly
but
what's
it
happening.
definitely sounded like she, like that there were hard, like maybe that was some of the hard feelings between.
I assume it was like a
Ahsoka
Yoda.
and
Oh,
Sabine.
maybe that's why
Yeah.
they stopped. Yeah, that
I
could
thought
be.
that was like a Yoda, like you can't leave because your training's not like done type situation.
I
but
think
here's
that
the
she
thing
stopped her
but,
from going.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing that I have to say though is that
Or didn't stop her,
shocks
but
me.
maybe talked her into like the way Yoda did. Like Yoda doesn't force Sabine to like he doesn't lock her and Luke in a room.
I guess my
like
only-
and say you can't go to like save your friends. Like, no, he gives them a choice. And
My
then
only
maybe
problem
Sabine
with
made
that-
the other choice.
But
like,
my problem with that then, the only problem I have with that then becomes like why? Because Ahsoka is a very emotional Jedi. And she's not a Jedi anymore, but she doesn't like she's okay with letting her
Well,
emotions do things, but in this
well,
show,
Ahsoka is very
but wait a second.
practical
In
now
this show
at
in
this point.
particular, they are really honing in on the idea that she is like a traditional Jedi. Who's like non-emotional.
in Mandalorian.
No, I don't think that's it at all.
In
That's
Mandalorian-
no, I
like
don't agree.
like
actually.
she literally tells Sabine, she's like, "Can I count on you to not get upset by your emotions?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like that
In-
was a big thing for your
in-
whole character in
in
Clone Wars."
Mandalorian, when Din brought Grogu to Ahsoka, she would not train him because he had feelings for Din. So
But why? Because that doesn't that
I think
defeat
she's,
a
I
lot
think
of
she's just fearful of
She's scared,
attachments
like-
because of what happened with Anakin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense of why she would be. Yeah, maybe that changed her. We haven't seen her since. I mean, we saw her in Rebels, but in Rebels she was only.
We've never seen her have to actually process like.
Yeah,
the
in
fact that
Rebels she
like,
was just
her
more of
fight
a
with
cameo.
Anakin.
You know, like her character was really only a cameo, and she fought Vader.
Like,
and
even
that was
when she
kind of
gets
it.
pulled
didn't
into
do
the world
much.
between worlds, she doesn't like get to talk about. The only thing we get is she reflects on like Anakin for a moment and says
Yeah.
his name. That's the only thing we get there, but we don't get to see like the rest of how she feels about that.
Yeah,
after
so I
her
guess
last
maybe
she
she
season.
hasn't
just kind of-
processed her grief.
Because remember,
yet.
keep
Well,
in mind,
she's about to.
unlike in Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan isn't even allowed to, it isn't even able to like touch or even get any of Anakin out at all, which happens in that scene because they do that reverse like duel of what's it called,
Oh.
Twilight of the Apprentice scene in Obi-Wan.
Oh, when they hit
but
the mask.
Ahsoka
Yeah.
gets like Anakin for a second. Like if
I
you're
think Obi-Wan does.
no,
a
he doesn't
little
at
bit.
all. No, he doesn't. You
That's
can watch
what
that
the-
scene. It doesn't. Obi-Wan doesn't get him all, and he shouldn't. Like given what happened on Mustafar, he shouldn't be able to get him at all. But Ahsoka, should be
That's
probably the
why I
only
love her
character that can
character.
get a
She's
little bit
just
out of
the
him.
best.
He's not enough to ever like turn him or anything, but it's enough that that he like says like Ahsoka, and then it goes to Matt Lanter's voice. Like it breaks out of like the Vader like voice for a
Are we
second.
boring
It
you,
does.
Jordan?
It does for a second.
I'm looking up facts. Like I'm trying to.
While you're
So
looking that up, let's talk about the map.
What about the map?
So yeah, so Ahsoka burns her hand on the map before she gets
Yeah.
thrown off the mountain.
So So Christian said in the reaction thing, and I was
That's just a
thought the
Raiders
exact
of
same
Lost
thing,
Ark
it's,
they're doing
Are
it,
we
yeah.
Indiana Jones and like this the Nazi guy? Like he puts, she's gonna have like
She's gonna have the
somehow
map on her
things
hand.
in her hand or
But I
whatever.
think that
like,
the only thing I'll say about that is that I
imagine
guess like they could try to piece it back together, but the map isn't the ball itself isn't like
No,
the map
the
isn't
imagery
project.
on it was
Yeah,
what
the
Was it the
imagery
map
was the
on
map.
the image? Okay.
it's just light coming out.
I mean, they don't have Sabine, which is the issue, but I imagine that maybe the idea is going to be that they have the map, and then Huyang, like,
Can,
his
like, decipher
archives.
it?
Because Huyang has, like, God knows how much archives he has. So I
Oh my
imagine
God.
with the two of those,
Yeah, so much.
they can probably are going to just piece it together with that. But also, like, I don't know how, like, we haven't even got to that point of the episode yet. But,
It was also odd to me that Baylan kept referencing Ezra.
I just
constantly.
assume that, like, I don't know about
They've
that,
had to have done their
actually.
research.
No,
I mean,
I
because
just assume they're
Ezra-
well researched. That's what I assume.
Ezra was listed as a most wanted person.
that's true.
But if he's not a Sith Lord, then I doubt he's affiliated with the Empire.
Anybody anywhere in the known galaxy would see him as a public enemy.
I mean, they knew.
It's just like Cal Kestis being public enemy #1. Everybody knows who Cal
There's
is.
going to be
because he's-
stories about
I think
it.
he
But
just did his
clearly,
research. Like, he's like a
maybe
bounty
everybody
hunter of
knows that
sorts,
Thrawn
so-
went there and the whales took him, and then that Ezra did that.
Yeah,
But
so
they get-
that
everybody
legend-
knows that
everybody
happened.
on the planet knows that that's what happened. Now he saved everybody, so that legend is all over the planet. So if the whole planet knows it because
Yeah.
they talk about it, that he's the hero of the planet, that's all over.
I mean, they had a
the-
holiday. So
That's
Again,
gotta- yeah, it's gotta be all
again,
over
me
the
and Christian were talking a lot yesterday, and we both agreed that Baylan definitely wasn't around during like the original trilogy. Because if he was, then he would have
They
been
said
involved.
he disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
no,
mean, he
but
was probably in
like,
hiding.
we knew
for
he
a
wasn't
while.
an inquisitor or like even like a high-ranking bounty hunter because
Yeah.
like you couldn't have operated as either of those
No, I mean,
things under the
honestly,
Empire
he probably
and like survived.
my prediction with that is that he was probably in hiding
Yeah.
until the Empire fell, because he was like, okay, well, the Empire's gone, all this stuff is gone, so I can just do what I want to do now. But I'm also gonna be a dark Jedi because being a Jedi is still bad. I mean, even though the Empire's gone, like being a Jedi is still bad, even though Luke Skywalker's
he
around.
sees the corruption in the Jedi Order.
Right. So like again, that's why I don't think he's a Sith Lord, but I think that like him, you know, he probably hid until the end of the Empire. That's why we haven't heard of
I
him
don't
or
think
seen
that
him
he's
until now.
in line with the Empire either, though.
No, I don't think so. But what I don't think's that either. I'm saying I don't think he's in line with the Empire at all. I think he hid until the Empire went away.
I think-
and then he came out and was like, "Okay, I'm okay to come out now
No,
because
he doesn't even really
there
like,
is no
want
Empire."
to fight. Like Sith usually like want to fight, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
like we most of the like
Yeah, he
they
seems very
revel in it.
reluctant.
Where he doesn't like revel. He didn't revel in having to fight Ahsoka at all. Like if anything, it
didn't
was
want
like
to.
he like not mourned it, but like.
But then he also
well, he
like.
mourned the. He seemingly mourns the Jedi into some capacity.
Well, this is also like in the very first episode of the whole show. She says, "You're gonna have to kill Ahsoka," and he goes, "Yeah, what a shame,"
yeah, exactly.
because there are so few Jedi left. So I
Yeah,
don't
I think he's just a guy in the middle. at this
yeah,
point.
exactly.
Like,
That's what I was gonna say.
You
He's like
think-
he's kind of
he's
in
the
the middle.
universe has brought a Jedi too.
No, but Mace
Like-
Windu was
Let
like
me
a
ask you
Jedi.
thi-
followed the
let me
code.
propose something. Do you think that he thinks that if Thrawn comes back and he's instrumental in bringing Thrawn back, that Thrawn's going to let him create like almost like a new version of the Jedi, and he's going to be in charge because he talks about that he's going to have more power, right?
Yeah, you know
He's
what? That's a
gonna be-
really
like,
good
I
theory.
can see like it's almost like his hope is that if he does this, that he'll be able to rebuild his version of the Jedi Order, and him and his Padawan
That's a
are
good
going to
point.
lead it. That's why I think that's why
I like that.
I think
I like that a lot.
It could be something like that.
like I think there's some level of that he thinks that he's going to have a chip in the big game and he's going to be able to rebuild the
It,
Jedi Order.
it really
I like that
depends
idea
on,
a lot.
Yeah, I
to
think
me,
that's a
it
really good
depends on
idea.
how much he knows about what they're dealing with. Because if he knows a little bit more about like well, I guess we're getting to that point in the episode now. Anyway, the world between worlds, his ideas could be a lot more ambitious than just starting
Can
a
we
new
Also,
Jedi
before
Order.
we before we get to that end part, can we talk about Hera and the Wolf Squadron
Oh yeah, we're totally
Phoenix
skipping over all the Hera
against
stuff.
Phoenix.
Phoenix Squadron, sorry, against the hyperspace ring.
Well, Phoenix. I mean, we also got to talk about that. Like Hera, being Hera, just doesn't give a fuck what anybody
Which
tells
is
her,
what we- which
and
is
she
what
just
we
takes
said.
off and
Yeah.
does what
We said
and
that
we
was
all
gonna
knew that
happen.
last episode. She was just gonna fuck
I
off
love
and do
how
what
she
she
goes-
Oh, and we got Carson
Yeah, we
as
got
well.
That
Carson
was nice.
Teva.
I don't know if he was necessary, but
I mean, it's just a
I like
fun
it.
cameo
He's
to
always
have.
fine,
Like,
yeah.
what was the very first time we saw him? Was
Mando.
two?
He's in Mando.
Mando season
Two?
1. I think.
Oh, season 1.
I liked that she's like that. Jason's more like, Mom, if you don't have to listen, why do I? And she's
I
like,
love that scene.
When you're a general, you can do what you want. But
She's
until
awesome.
then,
Yeah, she's good.
So then they arrive on.
she just pulled the because I'm a mom and I said so card is really what it came down to.
Yeah, basically.
So they get to the hyperspace ring and they're apparently about to go bomb run the hyperspace ring, and then it powers up, and I called it, but everyone else was like, no. Well, Julian was on my side. That
Oh, what?
that the hyperspace ring was gonna like kind of destroy.
Well,
the
that's
fleet.
actually correct canon. If,
Yeah.
Again, if they did like episode 8 canon, every ship would have imploded like simultaneously because of magic. But like in this case though, they just messed them up. Like,
Yeah, like the hyperspace trails like messed with the
The hyperspace trails threw them all off. They started crashing into each other.
yeah.
Which
It
was,
was
like
more
nuts.
like that secret weapon, the arc pulse from Clone Wars when they charge up the weapon. It's on the
Well, that was more of an EMP.
that was an ion cannon.
That's yeah, okay. But that's, to me, that's like how it affected the 3 ships. Like that's how it hit them, but it caused the other 2 to spin out of control. It wasn't like a Holdo maneuver where it went straight through the ship.
Well, they didn't
and
get hit
split it up
because
into
I think-
1,000
Well,
pieces.
yeah, I think the thing that we were trying to get at during the react was that they weren't just like the thing wasn't just going to go around them and they were going to be fine. Like they were going to get hit with
something was going to happen,
and they got pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
too. They
like,
lost
there's
like
only
2 or 3 ships.
Yeah, there's only 2.
Yeah, again, I
X-Wings
think
and
if
the
that was a
Ghost left.
solid ship, then
They went
just,
with- I think they went
I don't
with
know what
5
happens
and
in
they
that
lost 3
situation.
of them.
Actually,
Yeah.
so probably just get like pinged off it. But
But then obviously they all are like screwed, and
and then we get this.
so again, we forgot to talk about the fact that Sabine just gives him the map.
Yep.
Because he manipulates her into like, you'll never see Ezra again. And so she gives him the map, and then they take her with them because, again, Baylan, not being a Sith Lord who wants to murder people, being like a good guy.
Yeah.
Because he's deep down, he's a good guy. Like his
in
intentions
his
are
mind,
good.
at least.
Like, you
I
can
thought-
tell.
He
I
thinks
thought
his
he was-
intentions are.
I
some form of
really
noble.
thought that he was gonna kill Shin. If she
I
did,
thought
if
so
she didn't
too.
Stop.
If she didn't stop force choking her, he was definitely going to kill her because that's his thing. Is like he's in the middle. He does what has to be done, but he's not going to like do bad things on purpose.
Decent amount of tension among the villains still, though.
Yeah.
Now with like the apprentice and master.
Yeah.
With them and
And
nice
so-
sister woman.
So they obviously they take her with them. And so like, if they fucking find Ezra, like Sabine's going to be there.
But Sabine isn't like an ally. She's in cuffs.
yeah, she's not like their.
No,
yeah.
well, I mean, she willingly gave up the map, but they took her with her as
Yeah,
with them as
she's
a
a
prisoner,
prisoner.
obviously.
Well, now
'Cause
I'm
what are
more
they gonna do? I
curious,
mean, yeah,
like-
she gave up the map, but they're not going to take her and be like, "Oh yeah, you do what you want." Like they're going to take her as a prisoner.
'Cause I'm curious, like what because.
What Thrawn will do to her?
No, I don't think. No, I don't. Thrawn will be fine with her actually. Thrawn's
appreciates her as
Thrawn's not supposed to be like obscenely cruel for
He's
no
a chaotic
reason.
neutral.
Like he's not. But like they do it a couple times where he just does evil Empire shit for the sake of evil Empire shit. But that's not really what Thrawn's supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, but you also
I
gotta
mean, we don't
remember
know
kid
which
shows, so-
version they're gonna go. I assume because they're consulting with the old writer that wrote all these books and stuff that they're gonna try to go with something a bit more. Because again, I think it would be cool if they go out to. Do we like? I don't think there's been communication from like Morgan Elsbeth to Thrawn.
No.
Like she's like he's calling through me through time and space, and I'm like I don't think he is. Like I think something else is probably doing that. That's not good.
Thrawn
And-
is definitely out there, but it's not him communicating.
yeah, like I think there's a decent chance that like yeah we're gonna get Thrawn, and like maybe he's not even like of the full on villain like in a sense. Like maybe he's combating something that's also a threat. Like yes, he's a threat to the galaxy as well, but maybe what's also there is to
I
a
wonder,
threat.
do you think, and I doubt this,
'Cause that can make Ezra
but
work
also
with it,
just
maybe.
a thought, do you think that wherever they are, him and Ezra are working together to
That's
get
okay.
out
It
of
depends
it?
if they get stranded. Like I think honestly Thrawn would if he gets in a situation where there's like no benefit of just randomly trying to kill each other, like he would like make it make sense in his own
Like I
mind
said,
to make
chaotic.
to make an ally of Ezra. Like
Ezra recruits Thrawn as Fulcrum.
like I imagine that's the
That
first
would
thing.
be insane.
I imagine that's
what
the
a crazy
first thing
twist.
that like, he
Thrawn
tried
comes
to
back
do.
and he's like, Ezra's like, "Hey guys, don't worry, he's good now."
Again, I don't like evil Ezra very much, but also like I don't think like Ezra working with Thrawn necessitates a fall to the dark side.
No.
Yeah,
Like,
but also,
given the way
he
that
worked
Thrawn's
with
logic
Darth Maul
works,
a couple
like-
times, and like Ezra just does what he wants, which I guess
Ezra's
is
a
kind of
very-
badass, but also
Ezra's
like what?
very much a great Jedi.
Yeah, and instead they seem to be giving it to even Kanan doesn't while being an incredible character does not exactly follow traditional Jedi logic and reasoning when he approaches situations all the time. He imparts decent amounts of Jedi knowledge onto Ezra, but he breaks them all the time. He very much fights with love in his heart, which is not a thing you're necessarily supposed to do.
Yeah, he's a
The
fucking
only
dad.
time the only time he ever
no, for
truly followed the Jedi
Yeah.
is when he sacrificed himself. He knew
Yeah.
going into that mission that he was going to have to make that decision.
He
He
used the
knew that he was
blaster, he
going
used
to
all the stuff
sacrifice
and stuff,
himself.
I don't think so. I
No,
don't think.
No, he did. That's why
that's
Jack-
exactly
yeah.
why he gave
Yeah, 'cause
Ezra
he
the
had a
lead.
premonition.
The
He
Force
saw
basically
it.
told him that.
Oh,
The
that's
Wolf
right, he
kind
did
of
say
told
it.
him
He
it.
knows,
so.
he knows that
He
he's
told
gonna die.
Ezra, "You have to take lead because I know what's going to happen. I know I'm not going to be able to make the
He
hard
says
decision."
a finale, a final thing to Zeb. Basically, he says a Force be with you to Sabine and Ezra. So
Yeah, and it's just crazy. So
So then we get this beautiful shot of the ruins, and then we pan out into the ocean, and then we get
Ahsoka, which when the camera pans over her, I thought it was young Ahsoka, but it's not. It's her, and so we
then it
see
pans
her.
I saw
out,
some blue
and-
behind her. I'm like, oh my god, is it the Force Ghost? And I'm like, no, it is.
It's the world between worlds.
So she wakes up, obviously somehow being thrown from that cliff. Ahsoka wakes up in the world between worlds, and we get the best
Which every casual
30 seconds.
Every
of,
casual is in tears and has no idea what's going on right now.
everybody who
who's
doesn't
not
know what's
watched
going on
Rebels
is
or Clone
freaking
Wars
out.
I think
has no idea.
how on the fall there was the portal. I think that there's another portal.
there's obviously got to be a portal there somehow.
No,
So
guys, are we going to? Is your theory literally that she tumbled into a portal?
Yeah.
That's lazy.
No, I don't
that's
think it would
not-
be that she
lazy.
tumbled
the
into
way
a
she
portal.
got
So
the way
lazy.
they got into a portal was they had to solve a complex art puzzle on the wall of the Lothal temple that was literally excavated, it was under 14 feet
I don't think
of rock and stone.
I don't think she
and
died
they had
and
to
then wound up there.
No, I think she literally fell to her death, and because she's I think she's literally that. I don't think she can die.
I don't think that she died. I think
I think she
Well, we'll
literally
have to see.
died.
But anyway, so she wakes up, and
Or Anakin pulled her out.
that,
maybe
that
like
also
Ezra.
could be
Well,
it.
I think it could be
Anakin
that.
I'd
does
accept
say-
that.
I think it's one of those two. It's either that she's because of the weird, because again she has
The sister.
because remember whatever the world between worlds
daughter.
is, again this is a lot because all this lore has been given to us over multiple shows and over a decade basically. But keep in mind the world between worlds is Mortis God shit.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
that's
right.
what it is, and she has the life force of a Mortis God inside her, and she was pulled out of a very specific door within the world between worlds that was different from the vast majority of the other ones. So
Right.
she might be some sort of shepherd or protector of that world, which would also
I
match.
can see you over here.
just let me fucking talk. Right.
This matches a ethereal force being that can't die and is the protector of the world between worlds much more than anything else.
So she wakes up and we hear the best words ever, which are "Hey,
Hey,
Snips." And she turns around and Hayden Christensen is standing right fucking there,
and he
and
looks
it's
the right
him.
age.
So
And he
How
looks
are
so
we feeling about
so
the
fucking
de-aging?
good.
I think
he
it
looks
looks
great.
They actually tried it this time. which
Yeah,
is
I
good.
mean, he looks way better than what they did
He
in
doesn't have
Obi-Wan.
the
He
wrinkles.
looks fantastic
Yeah.
in this.
they spent some money to do
So,
it.
let me-
But
let
I
me-
think, but I
have-
think it's
let
because
me-
they're going to spend more
so a
time
couple-
with him.
Yes, I think he's in the
something
entire
that
next episode.
because now remember, she's wherever she is, and Ezra pulls her into the world between worlds.
You know what? I like the
So,
idea that Anakin.
I like
ends
the
up
idea that
somehow-
Anakin pulls her.
This version of Anakin, which is obviously before he becomes Darth Vader.
No,
is-
I think that
is
he's a
in the-
Force ghost.
No, he's
He's
I don't
definitely
think
not a
that's
Force
true.
He
ghost.
definitely was
Well,
glowing.
let me finish my
Pull up the-
my theory is that he is in the world between worlds and he looks through a portal and he sees what's happening to Ahsoka, so he pulls her in.
I think that he pulled her in, but I don't think that it's younger Anakin. I think that it's Force Ghost Anakin.
You have to
But
remember the
Force
world
Ghost
between worlds
Anakin
is
doesn't
blending.
look like that.
We've never seen a Force
He
Ghost
doesn't
manifest
look
himself
like
physically
Force
like
Ghost
that.
Anakin,
Not once.
the younger
Yeah, we
one.
have.
No, we haven't.
Yeah,
If
we
you're
have.
gonna say not Han Solo doesn't count.
What?
Han Solo was not a Force ghost in the episode 9. That's the only person we've ever seen.
Episode 9, Luke Skywalker manipulates things.
I don't know. Yeah, but we haven't seen a Force ghost be a physical human at any point in the Star Wars canon. Beyond,
Glowing.
beyond. No, he was. He
not,
literally
though.
wasn't
Yes,
actually.
That is not glowing.
He quite literally
Yes.
wasn't. The world between world glows, Jack.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, the whole.
I definitely think that he's a Force.
No.
No, he's
he's
definitely not. I think, if I'm being honest, that is going to be Anakin from an era of Clone Wars.
I think he might literally be on Mortis.
I think it's when he was on the Mortis planet.
I think
Yeah,
he might
when he
literally
was
be,
maybe
the
when he
forgotten
was
time.
bad Anakin on Mortis. And then he somehow, like, maybe because in the episode he kind of like loses consciousness and is controlled by the son. So I wonder, or by the brother. So I wonder if, is it the son or the brother?
I think it's the son.
The son. So I wonder if it's like when he's
Actually, no,
being
Jack, I'll
mind
give you
controlled by
one
the
thing.
son.
I'll give you one thing. I've talked myself into it with my own lore. The only point, if I said myself, if this is a Mortis God type realm, which is what I think this is, then the only time we've ever seen a Force ghost manifest themselves physically like that without being like a blue thing is Qui-Gon Jinn. In the Mortis God.
That's true.
In the Mortis planet. Is the only time we've ever seen
But-
a Force ghost
True.
be
But-
so maybe the same thing applies to the world between worlds.
I do have one thing that I want to say.
I'll
and
give you
this
that,
is,
Jack.
This
Thank
is
you.
going to be.
I'll take it.
This is going to be such a big cop out, but honestly, I think it's a serious thing. Every single time we see a character as a Force ghost, so Obi-Wan shows up as a Force ghost multiple times. Qui-Gon shows up as a Force ghost multiple times.
No, he
Luke
only shows up once.
Twice. Technically.
twice in the Clone Wars and in
Mortis
and
and
Three
Three
Obi-Wan.
times now, actually.
But he shows up as a Force ghost. And even Luke. Every time you see a Jedi show up as a Force ghost, they always show up in the clothes that they died in. Except for Anakin, who, when he shows up as a Force ghost, shows up as young Anakin wearing those long Jedi robes. This version of Anakin is wearing his outfit from Clone Wars. So I wonder...
Actually,
I mean,
he's
literally...
I was gonna bring this
wearing
up.
lighter robes when he
was
shows up at the end of episode 6 because they recast and they redid it over.
they-
and
well,
Well,
did
I mean, they
dark
just did
robe
his
it.
face over...
Yeah, but technically he's in the white robes in that scene. But I just wanted to.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying is, like, that's why I said, with the exception of Hayden Christensen in Return of the Jedi, they're always wearing the clothes that they died in, or in like Luke in Episode 9 is wearing the outfit that he died in. So, like, but it's
But
also...
Carrie Fisher isn't.
Oh, but Carrie Fisher's not.
Carrie Fisher isn't.
I don't.
So-
to be fair, I don't think like any
That
of
was
the
a little
writing.
bit of a
I don't think like
situational
any of the
thing.
writing decisions for episode 9
was
should
episode
like
6.
inform any decisions like in
But
the
I
wider
guess
Star
the only
Wars,
thing
like,
that I'm saying
canon
is,
for how
like,
things
he...
work.
I
we're
definitely...
being real.
I'm so shocked that you're not on board with the idea that somehow Anakin found his way into the world between worlds and pulled her out.
Well,
Like, that shocks me that you
I think
really
this
think
is-
that he's a
don't-
Force ghost.
Like,
that
that
blows
this
my
goes
mind.
into
You
the
of all
theory of,
people,
like,
I don't
if-
think would do that.
I love Anakin Skywalker, but I don't think that they're gonna like retcon. Like they're gonna
Jordan,
find
what do
a
you
way
got?
to
You
make
haven't
it
said
become
anything in a
this
bit, Jordan.
No, well, no, wait a second, because they wouldn't retcon anything. That's not retconning anything. Like,
Can we
they-
let Jordan in for a second? here?
sorry, Jordan, finish.
You guys are
Finish
fine.
what
You
you're
guys
saying.
have spent the whole latter half of the episode talking over each other. I've tried to say like a few things, but this is what it comes down to. Okay, it doesn't matter how he's there right now.
He's there.
He's there. That's first.
Enjoy the fact that he's there.
Yeah,
Second, okay, I wanna.
He's the best Jedi.
he is.
I don't really care how Ahsoka got there right now. She's there. It got mentioned. She's there.
Lego, can you make a world between worlds set, please?
I don't
with
care
this
right
scene?
now. Right now, I'm living on the dopamine high that was this
I'm still having a
episode,
dopamine high, but I can have a discussion.
but I can't have a discussion about it because I have to process this. Okay? But that's not a bad thing either. What I want to go into is there's still so many unknowns what's going to happen. And what we don't really talk about, or rather what we haven't talked about, is that what are you looking at?
I'm just looking at the lightsabers. They're dying. Well, that
the
one's
one
dying.
is.
Anyway, continue.
Is that I think Well, first of all, Shin's overrated. Hot take.
God damn
Sorry.
it.
No, I had
You're
to.
doing that to be controversial.
Jordan
for views.
Yeah,
Jordan
just
likes
like,
to be controversial,
for no
and at
reason.
the end of the episode, he was like, "Oh, it wasn't Hayden Christensen
And also,
talking.
like, I love how you
it
had
was
like, the
Matt
balls to throw
Lanter."
it in before you swiftly
Oh
move
yeah,
on to
how are
something
you?
else.
Okay, so here's the other
No.
thing.
Jordan was like,
Controversial.
it's not Hayden Christensen talking.
didn't
it's
sound like that to me.
it's
I
Matt
said I have to
You're-
go back and
You're
listen.
an idiot. It's Hayden Christensen's voice. Like,
I-
what's wrong with you? The whole point of bringing him back was that it's him.
Yeah.
Like, why would they rob us and give us Matt Lanter's voice? We don't want Matt Lanter's voice. And also, Matt Lanter is not live action Anakin.
This is-
live action Anakin
This
is
is
Hayden
finally the
Christensen.
connecting point between Clone Wars Anakin
It's so
and live
stupid.
action Anakin.
Like they won't even
I'm
they won't
sorry,
even so much
Jordan,
they won't
but
even
you're
so
wrong.
much as give like a clothed clone trooper with a helmet on like D. Bradley Baker's voice. So like, it's always Tamara Morrison
Yeah.
if it's a clone that we've in the few times we've got.
Guys,
it.
yeah,
so
if it's
they're
live
not
action,
gonna
yeah.
do that.
Matt
like,
Lanter had his live action debut.
Yeah, he already got a
What were you gonna
cameo.
say, Jordan? What were you gonna say? You were trying
You guys aren't letting me. Like I said, I gotta process it and go back and listen to it because to me that's what it sounded like. You're not being very
nice.
understanding of.
Well, you're not being very nice to the actor that plays Shin Hati.
Yeah.
I just said I don't like the character. I didn't say I didn't like the actress.
No, but I mean, yeah.
You don't
I
like the
get.
character.
I don't
that's
like
Hayden
the
Hurd.
Whoa. Toxic Star Wars fans, relax.
There's so much that we're kind of skipping over in the episode, but at the same time we're
Well,
not.
like we said, we're not trying.
We're not gonna get into everything, but it was a great episode.
It was the
Was.
best one so far.
And that being said, I'm afraid of the benchmark that this is leaving moving forward.
I don't think it's
I
gonna
don't
go
think
downhill
that's-
from here.
I don't think it'll go downhill. I
So
mean,
what do
they-
you think's coming up in the next episode?
yeah, Jordan, you tell us what
Let's
you
go
think.
around. Like, Jordan,
Well,
what do
let
you
Jordan
think's
go
gonna
first, 'cause
happen?
he let
What do
in,
you
and
kind
then-
of perceive might happen next.
I think, like you guys said, there's going to be a lot of world. Well, I think it's going to be two things. I don't think we're going to get any Sabine or anything with the Eye of Sion. Anybody who's on that ship is basically off limits for the episode. I think we're going to get Hera going down to the planet, finding Sabine's helmet,
Okay, yeah.
and I think that's where the whole hey, she's not here kind of thing happens. That's going to play out. And I think that we're going to get Ahsoka talking to Anakin, but it's going to be not necessarily the vision of Anakin that we're expecting to see, but it's going to be more like the dual personality, which is Anakin, where he's going to go back and forth between Vader and
Oh,
did
yeah,
play
we
him.
forgot
Anakin.
they played the
because they
Vader
played
theme at the
Vader's-
end. And it
Vader's
literally said in
music.
the subtitles,
Vader's
Vader's
theme.
theme plays.
But because when you look at one of the original scripts for episode 9, or is it 8? One of the two, that Ben is actually talking to a Force ghost
9. It's
Nine.
9.
It's 9.
It's Duel of the Fates.
of Vader. So it's like
Well, he also fights him.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
original script, he fights him.
so there's like
He gets
we're gonna see the set.
He
We're gonna
gets murked,
see.
too.
I'm glad I've never read that script.
It's a
No,
good
dude,
script.
it's honestly, it's way better than what we got.
I don't.
The only
Can
thing
we
I know
record that for
here's the thing.
TikTok?
We'll deal with this on a different day. We'll
I'm
deal with
just
this on a
gonna
different day.
say my piece. I think that the other. I think any other script under that like regime was probably not going to be good.
Dude, I'm telling you,
It's a good script.
I'm telling you, you got to give it a
There's
shot.
only
Anyways.
one thing from that script that I don't like, and that's at the end. And General Hux is like, "And this is the end of the Star Wars," and I'm like, "That's a little."
And then he kills himself.
Yeah, and then he kills himself with Mace Windu's
That's
lightsaber,
terrible.
and I'm like, okay.
This just sounds. Everything I've ever heard about the Duel of the Fates script, it sounds like you like you know those things where you just say random words and they fill in the blank. That's every time I've ever heard.
It's still
anything
No,
like
it's
that.
still
no.
better than
Like,
I
somehow
just heard
Palpatine
in the
returned.
last 5 seconds, I heard General Hux, Mace Windu's lightsaber. Like what the? Why is Mace Windu's lightsaber anywhere in this movie?
Theory, hold on,
Like,
There's-
why?
because there is a
there's an
story behind.
explanation
There is an
behind
explanation
everything.
behind it, but the explanation to sum it up quickly is
Sure, but we don't need to talk
Hux
about
is jealous of Kylo Ren that he's Force sensitive. He wants to be Force sensitive, so he tries to go collect artifacts. He finds Windu's lightsaber.
That,
That's what that is.
That might be the worst plot. That might be one of
Oh
the worst
my
plot
gosh.
points.
Christian
anything
just
in this,
will
in
never
this
say
series.
anything
anything
hates
positive.
it.
I think
I'm
that's-
joking. Let's introduce that in the third movie in the trilogy.
I think that's what.
Christian just
kinda with you.
hates everything.
Christian will
sequels.
never
That
accept
sounds awful.
anything
What do
about
you
the
mean? I'm
sequel.
being
Wait, guys,
honest.
wait,
But
wait,
let's
relax.
try to.
All right, but either way, the actual episode that we're talking about.
So the next episode, I think we're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff with. I think this is an Anakin out of time. Like, I mean, not like he's running out of time, but he's out of the timeline that
Right.
Ahsoka is in. So he's going to be kind of surprised at Ahsoka's age. I think he's not going to realize. I think like it's going to be like a weird time traveling, timey-wimey thing in there.
I think that's what Ahsoka needs.
I agree with somebody said we're not going to see. I don't think we're going to see Sabine or any of those folks in this episode.
Yeah,
at
me.
all.
That's I
I
said
think
that.
the end of the episode will be Ahsoka having to leave the world between worlds, and that's how somehow
She's gonna have to leave him
we're
there.
we're gonna foresee it somehow that she knows.
Okay.
I mean,
how
here's
to tell Hera
Can I
how
go
to
next?
get
yeah.
to where
Jack
they
can
have
go
to
next, and then I'll go because I really
So-
want to talk
That's
about
what I
this.
So here's
I
my
got
prediction.
something as well.
My prediction is that it's Force Ghost Anakin, and I think it's Force Ghost Anakin because he says, "Hey Snips, you're here sooner than expected." So he was expecting Ahsoka to be there.
Oh, he did say that.
Secondly,
you got here sooner than I expected.
Secondly, I think it's Force Ghost Anakin, and they're gonna have like discussions, but they're also gonna be walking through the world between worlds, and we'll get to see Clone Wars Anakin through.
I think
portals.
yes.
Yeah.
Through
That's
portals.
what they're doing.
I
yeah.
don't think that this Hayden Christensen.
That's what I was basically.
I don't
Dude,
think
I
that
can't-
this Hayden Christensen that we see with Ahsoka will interact with anything. I think we're gonna see flashbacks, and Ahsoka's going to learn from these moments in time.
That's what I.
Yeah,
So,
I think this needs to be like this is like where Ahsoka can finally make a like turn in her character.
Yes.
'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
that's where we might
that's-
actually get the Vader music.
Because she has like an arc, so
Yeah.
if
she's exploring all her past, then Vader
like
will
they
be
might
there.
like they might show like the world between like the what's it called Twilight of the Apprentice fight like through the portal like
but
between
so
them, while
that
they're standing there watching.
So here's what I want to say. I agree with everything you said except for the fact I don't think he's Force Ghost Anakin. I think he is, like Rich said, an Anakin from another timeline, preferably or most likely Mortis, who pulled her out.
What is he wearing in that scene?
He's wearing
He's wearing his Jedi outfit, which is identical to his outfit in the Mortis
look like
scene.
the three. It doesn't look like exactly like 3 though,
He
right?
has-
It's
I
very
need-
close,
hold on,
but
I
it's
need-
But it's more like the
can't find
Clone
a wide
Wars,
shot
like
picture.
later season 1.
I
So
need
I
to
think
s-
it's Clone Wars.
I
Anakin.
need to see his hair.
He's wearing.
I
He's
need
wearing.
Hair's long.
I need to
The
see his
hair's
I don't
hair.
think his hair's as
If
long.
his hair is
His
long,
hair's long. It's long.
then it's not Clone Wars
I don't
Anakin.
think
Let's
it's
not
as-
talk
no,
over
I
each
don't
other.
think it's
It
as
reminds
long.
me of episode 3.
Hold on, guys. Wait.
Let's not
'Cause-
talk over each other.
Wait a second. So my personal opinion is like when you get to season 3 of Clone Wars, his hair gets a little bit longer. And so where's the image of him? Just look up Anakin in Ahsoka. I mean, it's kind of he's wearing his outfit from season 3 of Clone Wars.
It's definitely the Mortis arc looking
I wouldn't
outfit.
say it's the Mortis arc exactly, but I definitely think he looks pretty damn
I think
good.
the Mortis arc outfit would probably be too light.
So
Like, there's more.
I mean, but this is also this is very, but also you got to remember this is very color corrected and very blue and very glowy. So I don't think he's Force Ghost Anakin. I think he's from somewhere in his timeline. It could be Mortis. It could not be. He could have pulled her from anywhere. So I definitely think, is going to pull her out, and the entire episode. I think, strictly for fan service purposes, I don't think we're getting anybody in the next episode except the two of them, strictly for fan service purposes. I think it'll be a shorter episode, but like
that's not true. That's a 49-minute episode.
so even still, like I think the entire episode, maybe until the end, will be
Those two in the world.
the
Between
two
Worlds.
of them in the World Between Worlds until the very, very, very end of the
I
episode.
think Ahsoka, or not Ahsoka. I think Hera has to go down to that planet.
Maybe.
That might be the opening.
But, listen,
That might be.
That
like,
one- yeah,
they
that might- yeah.
bookend it
Oh, go
with
back.
Hera going down to the planet, and then at the end, Ahsoka coming out of
wherever she is.
Kind of long.
It's definitely
definitely-
episode 3 hair.
It's
I
definitely
don't know if
episode
it's
3 here,
quite
but I think
that,
the
but-
idea is like in the Clone Wars show,
It's this guy.
starting with season 3. No,
No.
that's seasons 1 and 2. Anakin.
His hair's to his shoulders.
So I definitely think that like, but I think the idea is that in Clone Wars that starting at season 3 when they change because they change their outfits halfway through season 3, the idea is that is meant to be what he looks like through the entirety of Clone Wars. So
Sure, I can.
But I think the two.
I mean,
most
I think that's
likely
just what.
ones-
But I really
yeah.
just think that's just the art style.
Well, the two most likely ones
Well,
are.
because he's got short hair in.
Guys,
two.
we don't need to fucking talk about
let's
the
not
hair.
talk
Yeah,
about
we
the
don't need to
hair
talk about the
right
hair.
now.
Regardless, I think the entire episode is going to be just them until maybe the end. and they're gonna walk through, and like you said, they're gonna see in the World Between Worlds memories of his life and her
We'll
life.
probably get new Clone Wars.
We'll get
memories.
Rex.
Yeah, new clone. Well, in this war, you will face more
I'll
than
give you
just
guys-
droids.
here's
We're
what
gonna
I'll
get
tell you,
all
though,
of
Jack.
that.
You can't have it both ways for what you want, though. You can't be a Force ghost, and she can't have fallen into a portal at the same time. Either Anakin is physically there and pulled her through.
I accepted that Force Ghost Anakin pulled her through.
Force Ghost Anakin is not pulling her through.
Yes.
We're not. No. We're
Okay,
not
we're not.
we'll
We'll see how it plays out next week. Hold your
I
thoughts.
can't wait.
No,
Listen,
we're not done yet. We're
done.
still talking.
I can't
We're
wait.
done.
No, we're not.
So listen, this is how I'm gonna sum up the World Between Worlds as quoted by Doctor Who.
No,
You're gonna cut me off and give me no.
Stop.
No, I'm
Stop.
literally
Kill
talking.
your
No,
mic.
I'm literally
I will
talking
kill
about.
your mic.
I was
Kill your
kidding.
mic.
No, I think that if there's only two options we have for because I'm gonna give some actual real analysis of the World Between Worlds. There's what Jack said, which is true, which is it could be a Force ghost because we have the Qui-Gon thing, and I think that's a decent enough
And because
angle.
he said he was expecting her.
Sure, then I think that's a
I guess
decent.
yeah,
enough.
that's
a good
is
point
fair.
as well.
That is fair.
But again, otherwise, I don't think that he's magically pulling her through the World Between Worlds as she falls. That's too much of a jump for people to sing. Like Ezra didn't magically fall into the World Between Worlds at some point. He had to open up a complex thing. So I think, if anything, there's some actual Force some beyond Force stuff what's it called, Mortis God type stuff that may have brought her there.
I think it's really more complicated than what.
Especially if the Force
We're
brought
getting-
Ezra there to save her in the first place.
Yeah, well, there's that, but
I don't think the Force brought Ezra.
That's what I've always.
there.
That's literally. What do you mean? That's literally what I've always perceived. That's the entirety of the Thal's natural Force creatures tell Ezra to go to the Jedi Temple on the Thal. They meet the Loth Cats, and then Morai brings Ezra to the portal.
Yeah.
It's 100% the Force led Ezra there
we
to
get-
save.
we have
I'm
to.
trying to think about the concept.
Kanan's Force spirit led Ezra there to save Ahsoka.
Right. I also think there's a thing in sci-fi where this could also be a version of Anakin that only exists in the World Between Worlds. This is almost an echo of the real Anakin.
Like the chosen one.
I mean, it
this
could be
is
something new. Sure.
It could be something that's very related to the Mortis gods, that when he was in that Mortis god form, this version of him is kind of trapped in the World Between Worlds.
That is true. He did bring balance to the Force in the little Mortis God
so
dimension that he was in.
It may be kind of
by killing everybody.
Yeah, basically, he killed all of them, which is very accurate to the real Anakin. So,
all right, we're having multiple
I think we can rock up now.
conversations here.
So,
What do you got over there?
We're just looking.
We're
We're
just
just looking at the
at
images of
Anakin.
Anakin and analyzing his outfit and things like that. But overall, the de-aging is great. He definitely looks like Season 7 Anakin, so Revenge of the Sith. I mean, so maybe a moment in Revenge of the Sith that they're going to add, something that we didn't see, maybe. But the de-aging is great, and I cannot wait for next week's episode. I mean,
Me either.
I seriously think that the entire episode is going to be like the episode of, the World Between Worlds episode of Rebels. The entire episode is them in the World Between Worlds.
so good. Anakin gets to be the actual culmination for what Ahsoka's change in her arc. That's I thought we were gonna get Anakin, but I didn't realize that he was gonna be actually talking to
influential-
Anakin was going to be the main emphasis.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see him in a
And
flashback.
also,
I didn't know we were going to see
realistically,
him.
It's
telling
probably going to
her
be something
no.
because again she's struggling to train Sabine, so it's probably going to be talking about that in some level as well, and their
I
relationship.
definitely
as master and
think that
apprentice,
they're
and
going to-
Anakin talking Ahsoka into go save your Padawan.
I definitely think that this is
can't
going to
give
be
up
a
on her.
lesson learning episode between
Oh, for
Anakin and Ahsoka.
And this is why we're going to get this will transform Ahsoka into the Ahsoka that we're kind of. It's not quite what we thought Ahsoka would be. And then
She's
going
gonna
to
come out as Ahsoka the White.
What's that? The Gandalf.
I think this is literally the Gandalf look from the Clone Wars, what's it called? Not the Clone Wars,
Rebels.
the Rebels epilogue. I think that was that's a symbolic version of what this Ahsoka is going to become by the end of probably this season.
Yeah, I think my genuine prediction here is that the next episode is going to be the best episode of the season.
Yes.
100%. And that'll be 5 out of 8. And it's always 5. When it comes to Star Wars, episode 5 is always the penultimate episode. So
Maybe she gets the staff and she can travel.
that would be cool. So I think
She
episode
might
5 is going to be the best
She might
one.
come out in that attire.
So I'd like to end this.
Oh, actually, she is dead.
You think so?
It's It's Gandalf. They're Gandalf with a whiting it. She's literally going to come out like that. The Force is going to say, nope, you're still not done yet. Like they didn't. That's literally what this is. Like she's dead. She literally died and went to the Force thing. I'm 100% sure of it now.
Anakin did say he didn't expect you to soon.
Yeah, I think that works with that as well. I didn't think you were gonna die this quick, Snips.
So can
I didn't think you were.
I didn't think you were gonna die this fast.
Julia, can I pose the question of the day?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's interesting.
Hold on, Jordan has a question.
No, the question of the day.
Like they've already said, like the main inspiration for this version of Ahsoka is Gandalf.
Okay.
Like,
What did you? We can post two.
Oh,
No, go for it.
One only.
Steal my question.
Go ahead, Julian. My question's more of a vague, overarching question.
Oh, it's a vague thing. My question of the day is, what memories do you think that they are? Oh, I'm sorry, it's on me. So obviously, the next episode we're going to see Anakin and Ahsoka in the world between worlds, walking through and seeing memories. I mean, there's no way that we're not going to do that because that's the whole point. What do you think specifically, or what is a moment specifically that you want to see them go through in the world between worlds? Let us know as soon as possible before next week's episode comes out.
Jack, go.
Jack will try to get the TikToks out ASAP.
Yeah, we're missing a
we
bunch
have a backup of videos that have gone up, so
They're coming out soon.
yes.
So that also being said, you segued perfectly to TikTok. We can now go live on TikTok. Julian
Yes,
will
thank
be
you all
doing.
so much for getting us to 1,000 followers.
Yes, thank you so much. Austin Corbett 00 was our 1,000th follower, so thank you.
very
We want to make
much.
sure we give him a special thanks there. Julian will be doing some Lego building on our TikTok lives.
Every Friday.
Me and Julian have been playing Lego Star Wars.
Those are coming out too.
Yep.
And also check it out on YouTube because we're blazing our way through that.
We're also going to be doing some battles on there as well. I'll be doing those on occasion, maybe like once or twice a month. So come show your support for that.
And also possibly in the future,
Some merch.
We may be coming out with some custom merch for you guys. So if you want some, drop a comment below if that's something you want to see because
If
we
you want
want
to see
to give you stuff.
like this,
And I may make some video essays that I might put out on the channel.
All right.
Oh, yes,
All right,
please
Christian.
do. That's the first time we're hearing about this.
so the merch that we're kind of thinking too, and we kind of want to get your feedback is, do you want to see?
wait on it.
I just wanted to pose a question.
Wait on that.
We'll wait
don't,
on
we
that.
don't know yet.
Possibly some merch coming out. Just wait.
Some issues.
Stay
we gotta figure out
tuned.
first.
We'll
We have
make
to talk
TikToks
about
and
it.
everything. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys like this episode. Go ahead, drop a follow, drop a like. Go ahead, see us on
Subscribe.
TikTok. Subscribe here on YouTube or follow us, BICBP Radio. Thank you to Marento Media for having us.
Share us with your friends.
Yeah, share us with your friends. Thank you guys for getting us to 1,000 followers on TikTok. We hope you guys enjoy these episodes. Let us know your thoughts on this episode. Don't forget the question of the day, and we will see you all next week for Ahsoka Episode 5. Bye-bye!